With the recent launch of Meta Quest 3, we finally have a standalone headset that is relatively compact, powerful, has fantastic lenses, high-resolution LCD panels, can do mixed reality really well, plus it can play all your PC VR games wirelessly using Meta's inbuilt Airlink. Hurrah! But we already have a rival headset that can do all those things. It's this, the Pico 4. So I'm going to compare both headsets to see which one is best. I'll be comparing the specs, weight, comfort, battery life, ease of use, mixed reality, game library and price. Are you excited? I know I am. So let's get straight into it then, and remember, we're born to respawn. Here is a rundown of the cold, hard facts about each headset in a nice, convenient side-by-side comparison. The Pico 4 has a Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 chip. The Quest 3 has the newer XR2 Gen 2 chip, which has a 2.5 higher GPU performance, allegedly. Pico comes in two flavours, the 128 and 256GB models. Quest 3 has the base 128 and 512GB models. Pico 4 uses Wi-Fi 6. Quest 3 can use the newer Wi-Fi 6E standard. Pico 4 uses twin LCD panels at 2160 by 2160 per eye. Quest also uses twin LCD panels at 2064 by 2208 per eye. Both headsets use pancake lenses. Pico's FOV is 105 degrees and the Quest's is 110. Pico's IPD range is stepless between 59 and 72mm. The Quest is also stepless between 53 and 75mm. I'm going to talk about both headsets' battery capacities later, so we'll skip that for now. The Pico has one 16 megapixel RGB camera for colour pass-through. The Quest 3 has twin 4 megapixel RGB cameras plus a depth sensor for colour pass-through. So to sum up, the Quest 3 has a better Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 chip, a larger storage capacity on the premium model, access to a more modern Wi-Fi standard, better FOV, wider IPD settings, better colour pass-through, but battery, LCD panels and pancake lenses are almost the same as the Pico 4. So, a first win for Quest 3 then? As always with this channel, there are so many caveats, which I will get into in my conclusion. Comfort is up next. The new Quest 3 weighs in at 515 grams, which surprisingly, despite its tiny form factor, is 10 grams heavier than its predecessor, the Meta Quest 2. The Pico 4 is slightly heavier and weighs in at 568 grams, but unlike the Quest 3, where all the weight is on the front of your head, the Pico 4 balances that weight out by placing the battery on the rear of the strap, giving a near perfect 50-50 weight distribution. The strap on Quest 3 is okay. It worked for me, maybe because my baldy head gripped the cloth a bit better. I guess if you have more hair, it may slip and slide about. I have heard other people complaining how bad the strap is, but for me, it was okay. Just okay, mind. The strap on Pico 4 is better, much more comfortable, but the biggest problem with both headsets is that the facial interfaces are terrible. Both headsets use a similar hard sponge covered in cloth that is basically an affront to my human rights. After about an hour of wearing both headsets, I'll be suffering from the most horrendous VR face and unable to show my face to my adoring public. Or go to the pub, which is probably more likely. All these problems can be solved with a few quality upgrades from AMVR and KKCOB VR for the Pico and Bobo VR and VR Cover for the Quest. But we're talking stock headsets here and neither are very comfortable out of the box. Audio. I have always stated that the audio solution for both Quest 2 and Pico were adequate. Not great, just adequate. The Quest 3's audio is a definite improvement over both, with decent spatial awareness. I don't know if it's because of this extra opening here, but it's pretty good. Not index quality good, but definitely better. And it's a lot louder than before. I usually use the excellent Soundcore VR P10s for all my VR headsets, but I think the Quest 3 audio doesn't warrant spending an extra £99 to upgrade, unless you already have them, of course. However, whereas the mic on the Pico 4 is pretty good. Pico 4. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. The mic on Quest 3 is just poor, with popping, clipping and crackling when overloaded, especially in multiplayer games. Quest 3. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. This may get solved by software later, but right now it's bad enough to cause Reddit and Twitter outrage. Oof, save me. The Pico 4 has a 5,300 milliamp hour battery, which is good for between 2 and 2.5 hours, depending on whether you're watching media or playing games. The Quest 3's battery? Well, as of scripting this video, we don't actually know its capacity. In iFixit's excellent Quest 3 teardown video, which I'll link down below, they stated the battery has a 19.44 watt-hour lithium polymer battery, similar to the Quest Pro's 20.58 watt-hour, 5,348 milliamp hour battery. So a good guesstimation is that it is the same as the Pico 4 at 5,300 milliamp. But in testing, I only ever managed to get about 2 hours maximum out of my Quest 3 without having to resort to backup battery packs or the excellent Bobo VR's magnetic detachable batteries. I'm guessing that Gen 2 XR2 chip is a power-hungry little beast. Ease of use next, and we'll start with the controllers. The Pico 4 controllers are excellent, solidly built, the battery compartment loads like a gun, and the tracking is very good using the trusty tracking loop and the headset's 4 tracking cameras for 6 degrees of freedom. However, the Touch Plus controllers on MetaQuest 3 use witchcraft. I said it. They use witchcraft because how else could only 2 tracking cameras and no tracking rings possibly work this well? Apart from the Valve Index, these are the best tracking controllers I've ever used, but unlike the Index with its base station and fiddly wires, they use the 2 tracking cameras on the headset, IR lights built into the controller's faceplate, and 1 at the end of each controller. The result is peerless tracking of movements. So, well done to Meta for that one. Hand tracking is implemented on both headsets, but whereas the hand gestures and commands are very intuitive on Quest 3, the Pico 4's hand tracking works, but is fiddly and temperamental. Sorry, Pico. The UI on both headsets is quite similar. Meta's is slicker, but they have had longer to hone the software, so it is to be expected. Not that the Pico UI is bad, it's just currently a bit bare bones, but has improved massively since the early days of the Pico Neo 3 Link, so they are heading in the right direction. Game library. 75% of Meta's library is now available on the Pico storefront. This includes heavy hitters like Red Matter 2, Walking Dead Retribution, Superhot, Demeo, Walkabout Mini Golf, and the excellent Virtual Desktop, which I've recently done a setup tutorial on here. Meta still has its exclusives like Beat Saber, Onward and Resident Evil 4, but Pico are catching up fast. Now, the big one. For me anyway, mixed reality. I'm a firm believer that AR, XR or MR or whatever you want to call it is the future of VR. Playing Drop Dead the Cabin Home Invasion on my MetaQuest 3 had zombies tumbling through my windows. It was epic. The first time I used the colour pass-through cameras on Pico 4, I was blown away by how good everything looked. There was a bit of warping, and to read your phone or computer screen you had to get in quite close. But it was great, and it got better with software updates. But there aren't many games on the Pico platform that utilise mixed reality. There are only 7 currently listed on the store, and most of those are a bit meh. I'm really confused as to why more mixed reality games aren't on the platform. The footage you can see playing is from a game called X Fighters, and then the mixed reality works really well. Pity it's such a bad game. The Quest 3, however, has exploded with mixed reality games, from the pre-installed First Encounters with its cutesy alien tribbles to the first hand tracking demo, which has incorporated mixed reality into the tutorial. As for games, we have Drop Dead the Cabin's sublime Home Invasion, Aspire 2 lets you fight off enemy soldiers from your actual house, and the excellent Thrill of the Fight has you sparring in your front room. It's frankly incredible, and there are at least 50 of these experiences currently available, and most of them are free upgrades for existing titles. Deep breath. Before I get to my conclusion, please hit the like button. The algorithm loves the likes. And please also consider joining my channel membership. At the end of November, I'll be giving away this 120GB Pico 4 to one of my channel members. And you never know, it could be you. Conclusion. It seems that the MetaQuest 3 outscores the Pico 4 in most areas. The more powerful Gen 2 XR2 chip, Wi-Fi 6E, wider IPD adjustment, better audio, superior controllers, and a bigger library with more mixed reality titles. So, that's the one to buy then, eh? Well, no, because as always with this channel, there is a caveat. You see, the Quest 3 is considerably more expensive than a Pico 4. The base 120GB Pico 4 is £349, with the 256GB version priced at £419 in the UK currently. The base MetaQuest is £480, and the 512GB version an eye-watering £620 in the UK. So, here is my alternative solution. If you just use your standalone headset to play PC VR games using virtual desktop or tethered to your PC, and I know there are a lot of you out there that do this, the base Pico 4 at £349 is an absolute steal. Fantastic screens, clear, beautiful pancake lenses, well-balanced head strap, great controllers, and the audio is okay. However, if you want the latest tech and are dying to play mixed reality games and want those Meta exclusives I mentioned, then yes, Meta Quest 3 is the one to go for. It's an amazing headset, but remember, you are paying a premium for the upgrade. I bought the 512GB Meta Quest 3 and I'm very happy with my purchase. Bearing in mind that I am a massive tech geek though. But as always, what do you think? Have you bought into the Meta Quest 3? Are you sticking with your Pico 4 or are you happy on your 3-year-old Meta Quest 2? You know the drill. Get involved and comment down below. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the other side.